Hey guys, welcome back. We're here to do the Sims book tag. I'm super excited about this one. I've been sitting on this one for a while. And the reason is kind of funny. One of the reasons is there is a question on here that kind of had me stumped, and I just want more time to really think of how I would answer this. I finally figured it out, so we're doing this video. But also, I have mentioned this before. I've been really enjoying playing The Sims again. I have one kind of gaming video up if you like that kind of thing. And I'd like to do some more, but there have been a lot of new changes with The Sims 4 recently, and I did lose my progress from the end of that video. So I had to replay out the game, and I finally kind of gotten to a point where I've caught up, but I'm trying to play it forward a little bit more so I have some more storytelling. So I think I'm going to wait until we get into the second generation, like well into the second generation, to kind of go back and create the story, about the Barry's life and everything. So it's going to be a little bit of time before I get to that point. I kind of made a mistake. Well, it wasn't really a mistake. It's just that it does make the game play a lot longer because I set the lifespan on pretty decently long. I just didn't want my Sims to age up before I had the opportunity to have them max out their skills or max out their career, because it can be really challenging. Let's go ahead and get into the Sims book tag. Question number 1. The original Sims, the best author debut. My first initial reaction, because I started putting this video together last year, and at that time I was really in the moment reading all the Throne of Glass series, and Throne of Glass was Sarah J. Maas's debut novel. But I don't think that it's the best. Yes, I loved that book, but I'm gonna have to go with Twilight. Twilight was Stephanie Meyer's debut novel, and I mean, it exploded. They made movies out of it. And y'all Simmers know, people are obsessed with making and recreating Twilight Saga in The Sims. Like, there is so many videos out there, so much CC out there to really get that Twilight look. There is so many different building Bella's house, building the Cullens house, and especially with the supernatural packs having werewolves. You can have the wolf packs with vampires. You can have the Cullens. I am with you there. Like, in every game that I start up to, I don't necessarily play with my Sims. I don't necessarily play with my fandom Sim characters, but I love having them in my game and being able to run into them when I go to the cafe or go to events. And I try to make my Sims friends with my favorite characters in my Sims game. Let me know in the comments what fandoms that you like to recreate in your Sims. It has to be Twilight, Stephanie Meyer's debut novel, and it's my all-time favorite. It changed reading for me. It was a monumental moment in my life. So it just like The Sims. When The Sims came out, I have played The Sims since the first generation. Question number 2, The Grim Reaper. Pick the saddest character death. One book that I read last year, though, is The Boy in Striped Pajamas. That was bad. That was really bad. And I think like the symbolism of it all, it hits even so much harder. Question number 3, Sims getting stuck. A character that just got in the way. This was the one that I was stumped on for the longest time, and I have made up my mind. It's Kale. Kale is a character that gets in the way, and not just because of him being kind of the roadblock character in Selena's dating life, but in the book series. I mean, he is just kind of annoying. He's whiny, he's broody. And then to top it off, there's an entire book where you're kind of stuck in what's going on in his world, and it is like a 600-page book of nothing but Kale. And I feel like figuratively as well as physically, this character got in the way. His book got in the way, and they could have cut that book out and just put the most important things about Kale from that book into the other book, and it would have been fine. So Kale is my answer. Question number 4, Simlish, a book with amazing writing. Okay, I have 2 for this. The first one is just all around a work of perfection in my mind, as far as writing goes and as far as dialogue goes. And sometimes those 2 things aren't always the same, and that is Game of Thrones. I felt that the writing in this book was so great because I just loved the way that George R. R. Martin puts together sentences, the way he uses words, and he writes very impactful sentences. He says a lot of things with not a whole ton of words, but they also feel just very rich. It's also very readable too. I mean, there are definitely times where I've been reading books that they're trying to do a lot with a sentence, but like I have to slow down and reread them. Like it's not like total immersion. Like I have to really work at it. You know what I'm saying? But this was just like, I mean, it's just so seamless, it's so immersive, addictive, and just all worked so well. And then the dialogue also felt incredibly natural. It's like I could hear the characters speaking, and I felt like I was just sitting there at the table where they're having a conversation. I felt all that was really added to that full immersion of his writing style. But I'm gonna also say City of Bones because but I just love the way the characters interact with each other. It's really humorous. All right, question number 5, expansion packs. A series where the books just keep getting better. This was a pretty easy one for me. That would be Arc of Scythe. This is one of the few series where I feel like actually the second book was better than the first one, but it doesn't mean that the first book wasn't absolutely amazing too. Like I love that one too. So this is a trilogy, and then there's also a novella. And I've read the first 2, and I'm about to read the third one, finally. Question number 6, sim romance. What is the worst case of insta-love? And I 100% have to go with Crave by Tracy Wolff. This was just, are we joking? Seriously? Oh, no, there's another one. There's another one that does it really bad, I think. Caraval? It's not necessarily the main character, but in Caraval, oh no, there's also another one that was really, really bad. I'm gonna go with Crave, but there was also another one that's notably so bad, and that is, oh my god, that one by Maggie Thurston, where she goes to New Orleans to find a vampire. Question number 7, Cheats. A book that was entirely unrealistic. I put Caraval for this one, and I think that it is because it is a fantasy, so of course it's not supposed to be realistic, but there's an element of the storytelling where they're going on these adventures. The plot, like trying to follow the characters along and figuring out what setting they're in, the world. It's like I got this sense that we were going someplace and then we were at someplace, but I literally have no recollection of like time and place. That makes it feel very unrealistic. And then there's the relationships, okay? The main character's relationship to her sister is the most critiqued one, where she's supposed to like, that's supposed to be her primary motivation for doing things, is to like save her sister. But then when they meet, it's really weird. It doesn't even seem like, it seems like they're more like competing against each other. And it doesn't seem like she actually even likes her sister that much. She's all these reasons of why her sister is terrible. It was really unrealistic from based on what they set the story up to be about her motivations. And I think that needs to be very strong. You have to continuously understand and know why your characters are going through this plot in order to follow along, I think. But yeah, that was lost. And then to top it off, the worst thing of all was the writing style. The writing style was absolutely atrocious. I feel like I need to put examples in here, but essentially it was, everything had to be explained with similes and colors. Everything is color coded. Every emotion, every feeling, even looking at something, which is a pretty basic thing, will be color coded with descriptions like periwinkle blue, and it's absolutely nonsensical, and that's why this is the most unrealistic book. Question number 8, needs fulfillment. A character who made all the wrong decisions. I guess the main character from Caraval. I feel like that's not the best answer because we already did Caraval, but I'm sorry, that's all I got right now. Question number 9, Error Code 12. A series that started off great but went downhill from there. I want to put Fable by Adrian Young. I loved Fable. I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was so good. It was one of my best books the year that I read it. Then I read Namesake, and it was really disappointing. But then I read Saint, which is technically a novella, but I really liked Saint. I thought that was really interesting. But then I read the very last book, The Last Legacy, and it takes place in the same world, but it's a little bit different because you're following the main character who's part of this like crime family. And I thought the premise was really interesting, but the main character was so insufferable. Everything about it was just very disappointing. So yeah, it was even worse than all the others. So that's my answer. Fable by Adrian Young. Question number 10. The Sims Vortex, a book or series that completely engrossed you. This is a little bit difficult because I haven't had a completely binge-worthy series in a really long time. And I keep trying to think of books that I've more recently read versus ones that I read a long time ago. And I read so many bingeable series like so long ago. It's funny because these are some series that a lot of people don't feel like they've held up through the ages. But there's no denying that all of these series, I had to keep reading the next one and the next one and the next one. All right, the toss-up is between two because I always do that. I always have like two that I have to talk. It's like I can't just pick one. I find myself doing that a lot. So I have one that I talk about all the time, and then I have one that I don't get to talk about often enough. And the first one is Shadow and Bone series. I loved this series. I was so engrossed in it. I think I even saw some post-it notes in here. Yeah, like, I have annotations, like, all over this book. Oh, my son's about to walk in the door.
She invited me to this, like, thing where you need to fill out the forms on Schoology. I think it has to be on my computer.
Oh, okay, but she showed you how to do it.
Yeah, so I need to be invited to something. So I wasn't able to do it until I talked to her.
Oh.
These are no forms.
Okay, that makes sense. Awesome.
I didn't know why she didn't invite me to it when I asked for the papers, but...
Or when I reached out to her and sent her an email, but...
Whatever.
It's all done now. Alright, well, I'm gonna film this video. Why don't you go sit at the table, get yourself a snack. Literally, I'm almost done, so let me finish this up. Okay. So yeah, Shadow and Bone. I read this when we first moved to Florida from Colorado. How long ago was that? We lived there for 3 years.
I remember you talking about it, though.
It's been about 7 years.
I remember you talking about it, though. You love Shadow and Bone.
Yeah, I love this series. And then they have the TV show, and no, it's not as good, but I still like it. And then the other one is Delirium. This is a series I really don't talk about much. It's pretty underhyped. Like, I never see anyone talking about this series, but it is so good. What is it about? It's a dystopian world, whereas like this one's like high fantasy, but this one's a dystopian world where they have found a cure for love, and at a certain age, kids get to go and the surgery done, so they don't feel love anymore. But then I felt that this book did such a good job of exploring what that means for society when there is no love, and they even go into details of like what it's like to be parents and some of the children who are neglected because their parents just don't love them. Plus the love story is really slow burn, and it's just so sweet. Those are all the questions for this book tag. I hope that you enjoyed it, and thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.